everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alto Call, a Married at First Sight podcast. I am your host, Tane, here to recap Married at First Sight Season 19, Episode 11. My guest today is a familiar voice. Those of you who did the rewatch with me for Season 9, who's been listening to Couples Therapy Recap Season 4, it is Jenn. Hi, Jenn. How are you?
Pew, pew, pew. I'm doing good. That didn't come out how I meant that to sound at all. Whoopsie daisy. But yay, I'm
She
so
meant like,
glad.
you meant like pew 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 pew.
Yes, thank you. That's what I meant to happen, but that did not come out of my face. But no, I'm excited to be here. I have a couple of really great things to share with you and one thing that's petty, and I will let you pick which one goes first.
Petty. Duh.
Petty. So petty is, I tell you all the time that not only do I enjoy being a guest, but I also am a fan of your show. So I listen to your episodes and yeah, you know where this is going. You know exactly where this is going. So I don't know how on this season of MAFS that all the Jennifers are catching strays. So first with Belinda, Jennifer Lopez caught strays. And then on your last episode, I caught a stray from your guest. I'm not even going to say his name. But how did Suck It Jennifer? I'm just sitting here trying to support both of y'all. And Suck It Jennifer comes through my ears. So, mad at both of you.
Did you catch the part where I said, please stop because you were making my life difficult? And
I
two,
did.
I even things out by calling him somebody else's name.
I did. That should have made me feel better, and it did for a minute. But then I'm just back at going like, how am I catching strays? I'm a fan. What's going on here?
He's just been working so hard to get to the fame part, so he got so excited. So, pay him no mind. Now he's gonna hear this and come back to me and text me and be like, Tane, what was that about?
We're gonna have like a challenge. We're gonna have like an ultimate guest shootout or something.
Yeah.
I need this settled.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put everyone on the spot and do trivia and be like, so we'll do MAFS trivia and see what happens.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, let's do the nice things. What's the great thing to share?
The great things to share is that for those of you that don't know, I am slow traveling with my husband for the last 3.5 years. And so we've been in Thailand now since March. And so I landed a job, which for anybody who's been unemployed for an extended period of time knows that it is a weird feeling. It's a refreshing feeling. It's exuberant. Like, yes, I'm back in the workforce. I do have somebody giving me money, like you see value in my work. So that piece feels good. Although I'm working at a school and I am not at all adapted to the smell of teenage boys. That's not something that's been in my life in a long time. So that part is strange, but I do enjoy that piece. So that's going well. The other pieces through the last 3.5 years, we kind of meet people tangentially, either through podcasting or through travel Instagrams. And so we met a couple, the Wander Gays. So hi, Sam and Maria. And so they'd done my podcast years ago and we just kind of kept in touch. They scuba dive. So we have that in common and they live in Thailand. And so after all of this time, just kind of talking to them through social media, we met them in person. So that was awesome. And they're getting married in February. They're having an underwater scuba dive wedding. So that's going to be my first lesbian underwater scuba dive wedding in Asia. So I'm excited. So things are good.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
But
excited.
Congratulations on your job. And, with the smell, growing pains. One day you're going to walk in, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but you won't even realize or notice a smell anymore because you'd have adjusted to it.
I hope that's true. It's just sometimes I walk in and I texted my husband at 10:30 one morning. I was like, it's 10:30. Why do they smell already? I don't understand.
Hormones.
So many.
Hormones and teenage hormones.
So many.
Okay. Before I get into the episode, just want to remind you guys, I just said it right now that Jen and I, we were covering couples therapy season 4, which you can find on, I think, Paramount Plus or Showtime, or Paramount Plus with Showtime. All these streamers are making our lives difficult, but yes, it's been a fun season, but we just took a pause because MAFS came back on and it was a lot. So we'll be back at it once MAFS is over. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but MAFS is going to be over next week. So after that, and depending on the holiday schedules, we'll be back with couples therapy. So if you have never watched, or if you have watched, I do encourage you to watch it because it is kind of interesting. So maybe you can catch up during the holidays and then follow up on our recaps. It's just a just under 30-minute show, and it's just a really fascinating show that dives into couples together that are in New York, and they have the most fantastic Dr. Una to guide them through
Yes.
that.
Love
Yeah.
Orn. I would love to see her on maps. I'd be real curious to see what she does with these fools.
Ooh, Una is an expert.
She would be so good. She would
Ooh.
make everybody else step up their games.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking about maps, we are on day 40. We are still at the couples retreat house, and I'm just gonna dive in and start with Will and Brittany. So, Brittany and Megan are still in the bathroom because if you remember, Brittany was upset. She was crying. She went into the bathroom, and Megan went to go check up on her. And Brittany asked, like, do I look like I'm not okay? And Megan is like, you guys are both giving up like we're not in a good spot. And Brittany says, like, the thing is, they don't have an emotional connection, and that's just what it is. I would like to point out that Will is still sitting at the table. Brittany says that they don't feel emotionally connected to each other, and she needs to decide if that's going to be enough for her. And Megan says, definitely not going to be enough for you. Brittany tells her she appreciates her, and they go back to the table. I want to go back to where Brittany says that she needs to decide if that's going to be enough for her. I've been talking a lot about maths, and I was also on the Perfect Match Pod Patreon. We were just discussing the latest drop, so go check them out on their Patreon. And I think I mentioned how I want Brittany and Will to work, right? Like I'm just
Hmm.
invested in them. But
Hmm.
also when I take a step back, and if my sister, best friend, or loved one, or whoever came to me and just described Will, I'd be like, get out of there. But I've also said like me, and I say get out of there not because he's a terrible person, but only because he's not giving you what you need, right? Like I've said that they're
Yeah.
incompatible. But I think that if they had time and if they understand like this is just Will, and I think we get a little bit of that when we'll go further when we meet his mom, that they can make it work. But at the same time, I don't feel like, Brittany has to suffer through all of that. I don't think she needs to go through struggle of to get all of that. So I think I need to, it depends on what day, whether my emotions are like, I don't care, they can make it work, I want them to stay together, or if I'm just being realistic and being like, can they long term give each other what they need? And I'd like to point out, I have not watched episode 12, so I have no idea in case episode 12 is going to make me sound so foolish right now. But but I'm just like that's where I am on them, and I'm curious to know, where do you stand when it comes to Brittany and Will at this point?
At this point, I think the frustrating part for me, and maybe it's not just them, it's all of them, is the idea of, when people say marriage is hard,
Mhm.
I don't think this is what that means. Like, I
Mhm.
think that marriage is learning about each other, and it's compromise, and it's kind of figuring things out, but it's also it doesn't mean bashing your head against the wall. It doesn't mean crying every day. It doesn't mean feeling hurt every time that you're around this person. So I want them to work because, like you and the guest who should not be named, like, I want to root for the black couple. I want the black couple to do well, and not just because they're attractive, but because they're kind of what they could be the Michelle and
They
and
have
Barack.
something.
Yes, there's something there, and it's
She
so
didn't say Woody and Amani. She said Michelle and Barack. Okay.
they could, because I just mean in terms of them building something together. I think he's
Okay.
got this
Mhm.
very specific personality. She has this very specific personality, but it's the kind that if they could shift a little bit and stop kind of focusing on their own perspective, that it could work, that they
Yeah.
could complement
Yeah.
each other. Like, it's good for her to get out of her emotions and see, like, this is what it looks like when you approach things kind of tactfully. And that may not be the right word, but if you approach things separate from your emotions, there are situations where Will's approach is good, and there are situations where your approach is good. And I think that's where they're missing. They're so busy trying to get the other person to do things their way. They're missing that, hey, there's things that you bring that are a benefit, and there's things that I bring that are a benefit. And I wish that they could get out of that space where they're trying to force the other person to think like them and act like them and understand what they're doing, versus going, okay, what can we do together? What are some things that we do well together?
Yeah, it's breaking down that expectations. Like it has to look like this. This is
Yeah,
what it looks like. But both of you coming together, knowing what we know about each other at
right.
this point, because they also need time to get to know each other. What can we clean slate work
Mm-hmm.
out with what we have with each other right now? Where can we meet? Where can we budge and all that? I think in the beginning, my thought process was like, Will is not going to budge. So
Yeah,
why is the onus on her? But it looks like Will is could possibly budge. And then it's like, but like I mentioned, I don't want her being breadcrumbed.
right.
It's not like, oh, we make progress and then, oh, okay, this is good. And then we go back and then you have to go back. So it's like, what is growing pains and what is this is going to be your life forever, you know?
Yeah, and I think, and this is something that I'm missing from this fast pace, and there's some
Mm,
things that I'm happy aren't there, but there's one thing that I really wish is there, is to see the interaction with friends, because
yeah.
I don't know if she was able to see him in his
In
natural
his
environment,
element.
because
Hmm.
where he was in the first episode when he was talking to his friends, he was a little like that, but it felt light, and they called him out on it, and he took it very differently. And so I think if she could see, like, hey, call him out on it in a different way, and he's receptive to it, but there's nobody else to bounce that off
Things
of.
off
And I
of, yeah.
think, and he's not seeing that either. So I think, and maybe that happened and we're not seeing it, but I wonder if that's something that this season doesn't have, that it, specifically for this couple, would be so helpful.
Yeah. So Megan goes back to the table, but then when she goes back there, Will is still sitting at the table. And then she
So
tells
funny.
Will, like, you might want to go check on her. Like, just go see that she's okay. But I just want to point out that Will really, I've said it before, but he really doesn't play about his pink. He's wearing another pink shirt, like in there. So he goes to the bathroom. We can't see them, but the mics are on. And she's just like, this is stupid. I can't do this. She's crying. And once again, Will has like this low tone, sexy voice when he's apologizing. And he's like, I'm sorry my actions make you feel this way. And then he whispers, I'm happy to be here with you. And I want to be here with you. Okay, baby? And she's like, thank you. She says thank you a lot this
Right.
episode. And he's like, you're so beautiful. I want us. Meanwhile, the camera pans to the rest of the cast sitting at the table. They're like, okay, can we go inside? Like, I mean, there's nothing. What are we going to do? Will tells us in a confessional that it's never fun seeing Brittany emotional, and he knows that it's been difficult for them to talk about the same thing over and over. So it's important for her to know that they're working on this together. Brittany tells him that she appreciates him being there and comforting her. And I'm like, let's leave the detail out that Megan told her to go over there and see her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they say they want to play games, and she's like, she's not in the mood to play games, like not games like between two of them, like the whole group wanted to play party games in the house with the rest of the couples. And she's like, I don't want to, but I'm here. But the thing is, I know she's there, but she's obviously visibly upset, and
Hmm.
it's just never fun when one couple's mood like dominates the entire like event.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what would have been. I guess it's better she was there, because if she leaves, it becomes this whole thing and all that. Because remember, this happened at pickleball, and then now it's happening at dinner, so it's like a whole thing in a damper. And I'm still pissed. Rhonda's still not there, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but at least it's not like, in terms of couples impacting other couples, it's not like Jamie and Beth, where
Yeah.
it's this huge explosive thing and the whole
Yeah.
the tables being flipped. It's uncomfortable, and everybody knows it's uncomfortable. But I think they have an understanding as to why it's happening. So people are kind of like, okay, we're going to be sensitive to both of them, which I think it's nice as this group kind of has that care for each other versus
Yeah.
the hands off and the we're super involved in your stuff. So it's a good balance of those two.
I cannot hype this cast enough because to me, this is the perfect balance of friendship at first sight and married at first sight. Because what we've seen in
Right.
the past is like they become such good friends that it's all about the friendship and they become all about that. Like, this is the perfect, we're focusing on our couples, but we're also here for our girls or our guys and we're here for each other and we're friends. And I'm like, this is a perfect balance. But I mean, it could be said that the reason why the friendships in the other seasons are also so heavy is because they're not happy in their marriages. So then they're leaning heavy on the friendship, right?
Right. True. But I wonder just how much of a dynamic the older people are. And I keep saying older people, realizing I'm 3 years older than Belinda, and I'm only 4 years younger than Chad.
Chad.
So that hurts my feelings. But um, I feel like that dynamic changes a little bit too. I think people they seem to have that like we're helping but we're not terribly challenging each other. So maybe that's
Mhm.
part of it too. I don't know. We'll never know because this is the first time that we've had both the mother daughter dynamic and the older couples in it at once. So we don't know which is the one that's really impacting it. But
Yeah, but even if you take
it's
that
good.
out, like even like with Megan and Brittany, like there's no age thing there, but
That's
they're
true.
there for each other, but it's not like a heavy ride or die. This is it. Not that they're not ride or die, but it's like there's a healthy balance between
Yeah.
focusing and not also being so into their business, which we've seen in the past seasons.
Were you
So they.
surprised?
Oh,
Were you surprised that Megan turned out to be like the comforting one? There's something about her comforting Brittany that surprised the heck out of me. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy that she did it because I had all kinds of
yeah.
opinions about her before it happened. But seeing this side of her, I was like, okay, Megan, I'm seeing different sides of you, and I kind of like it.
No, I wasn't surprised because the thing about Megan is I know, and I think he who shall not be named, according to you,
Thank you.
mentioned this where she's being villainized. And
Mm,
we said it also, like compared to past seasons, like they're not even gonna make any of the villains list. But she's being villainized because this is like the most well adjusted group we've had in a while. But her
mm,
issue also was only towards Derek. I
yeah,
don't think that she was like mean or anything to anyone else. She is reserved, like she didn't want to
yes,
share, but that was because she was mad and things like that. But I never saw her as like this mean, cold-hearted
that's true.
person or anything. Like maybe she was a little bratty when she was dealing with Derek, but we only saw her through the lens of with Derek. And it's also the same thing. Like if you think of, sometimes your loved ones, your boyfriend or your husband doesn't piss you off the same way as like maybe your friend to piss you. Like the romantic relationship is different from how you interact outside with like your friends. So I don't think I was
Absolutely.
surprised per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So they play truth or drink, and I forgot about the pregnancy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Megan, until Megan said, I'm glad I got non-alcoholic wine. And I was like, oh yeah, she is. And can I just say, it is wild that the experts have not called to check in on Derek and Megan when they found
Yeah.
out they were pregnant. It is a first. It is early. They're still getting to know each other, just to temperature check. How are you guys doing? What do you know? They cannot say they don't know because they made it a whole thing to let us know that they get check-ins every day. And if the
Mm-hmm.
producer knows, you know. So for them not to check on them or for them to choose not to show us that they checked on them, to me is wild.
Well, especially since didn't Pia just have a kid? Didn't she just have a baby not that long ago? Or she's pregnant?
Well, they filmed this way before, so I don't think that. But wait, what would be the correlation between
I
that?
just think just in terms of like, hey, well, she's the sex expert, so also she's the expert of she's going through the same thing. So like, let's talk about let's bond in terms of hey, I'm in a space. I understand what it's like to be pregnant a little later in life, but let's kind of figure out what this means for you and what that looks like. So I think it could have been a good, um, although a therapist is supposed to separate themselves, but if she's visibly
Yeah.
pregnant, you can't. But I don't know. I thought it would have just been an interesting
I
conversation
don't
to see.
I don't think I see it through that way because the way the circumstances are different is completely like Dr. Pierre has known her partner forever. This is a completely different situation where she's pregnant for someone she just met. She's being filmed on TV, and there's a whole dynamic on that. So I don't think I would see that, but I think they've also blurred the whole expertise for the experts. Like it used to
Hmm.
be financial, religion. So it doesn't matter anymore. Again, we don't know where Dr. Pepper is. So that's a whole different thing. But I just think like someone should have checked in on them or got like a temperature check of how
Yeah.
they're feeling.
And maybe they did
So
off camera and we just didn't see it because maybe it's not
yeah,
captivating for this short uh, time
yeah,
frame that
yeah.
they're
That's what I
throwing out
said. It
there.
was like if they showed it and they chose not to show it, that's also wild to me. Both
Mm-hmm.
situations are wild. So they ask questions like, what will it take to sleep with someone you're attracted to? Who has more sexual partners? And then show me your dirty talk. And everyone's being all weird because Belinda and Jalen are in the same room and they don't seem bothered by it.
No.
Megan ends things by saying, "Oh, I think everyone wants to go back and consummate their marriages." Technically, that is the wrong word to use, but I want to go back to Belinda when they said, "What will it take to sleep with someone you aren't attracted to?" And Belinda was like, "Lots of sexual frustration." And I'm only saying that because there's just been a lot of talk about, is Belinda really into Chad? Is it just like, do we really know Chad? Is that it? And when she said lots of sexual frustration, I'm like, huh, is she speaking from experience or is that just really just the answer
No,
out there?
and we can, and we'll get into this probably when we get to Belinda, but I feel like a lot of what I'm picking up from her is just the result of all the stuff she went through with her first marriage in terms of being cheated on. And
Mhm.
I assume if he was gone all the time and cheating on her all the time, that they probably weren't doing it a whole lot. And so maybe that's what she's kind of like, I'm not doing this again and this is what I'm gonna have to take. And Chad's like, whiskey. And it's like, I know. It's gonna take a little more than that for her.
And I don't know again if I've forgotten, but I don't know if she's spoken about dating a lot after the divorce. I don't know. I don't remember what her dating life is like in between, and I can't remember how long ago she's been divorced is the other thing. So they just show
Oh,
us so little of them that I
yeah.
think that adds a little context too. Like, has she been dating? Is she recently divorced? Has it been a couple of years? Did she not date after divorcing him? I don't know. I don't know what her dating history is like, but
My
okay.
brain says 8 years for some reason. I don't know why 8 years is popping in my head, which I'm trying to do the math of how old uh, Jalen is, but I think it was like, oh, after the kids graduated, they split up, and I think she did have a couple of relationships. I don't know how long they lasted, um, but I think she's kind of a monogamy girl. Like she's just not one to be out here uh, knocking them down. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I believe in you guys. Someone will let me know
Yeah.
how long it's been or if I just happen to miss it. But I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay. So Will and Brittany are back in their room, and Will is telling Brittany that he had fun this weekend with her, and he thinks it was important for them to have some of the moments that they had. Brittany says like she just got emotional because everything hit her at the same time, but she appreciated the other ladies speaking up in the moment for her, and it just made her feel less crazy. Then she does add, because I think Brittany does this thing where she says something and she's like, "Oh my god, I don't want to, make him annoyed." Then she follows it up with something, a compliment or something nice, and she's like, "Oh, but I appreciate you checking in on me." And I'm like, I whispered, he was told to, but we're not gonna say it. He says again that, I want this. I can do a better job of reminding you that I want this. And Will tells us that emotionally speaking, he's a plateau. And in high school, when he was dating a girl, he wasn't sending hearts and messages, but he'll learn because she needs the comfort. I'm like, Will, so you have been told about this for years and you didn't do anything about it. Now you're going to make your life harder because you're going to try and do this as an adult.
Right.
So She
But
says,
he knows something because like in the bathroom, like he seems to come through in a clutch, and maybe that's his thing where, and it's not a good thing, but he doesn't realize how severe it is until she cries. And hopefully that's not a pattern that they've created for the rest of their time together, is in order for me to get a reaction out of you and in order for me to hear you say sweet things, I have to cry. And so this is what I mean about let's figure this out. Like if you say sweet things to her, then she won't cry. It's not that hard.
hmm, yeah, that is a pattern, isn't it?
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope he does a better job of that. But she says that she's been choosing him and that's just the person I am. And he says, "I choose you too." They all head back to the city and she says like it's back to being overwhelmed. They're sitting on the couch and she asks him like, what do you do when you get frustrated or overwhelmed? And I know this sounds like an innocent question, but it does sound like Brittany's still like, what rattles you? Like something has to rattle you. He says, "Oh, I take a nap, I go to the gym, I try not to talk to people and try not to get lost in it." And Brittany says, "Same. Um, I
You a damn lie.
I, I mean, maybe just in this process, it's just been hard, so it's kind of different, and that's why. But it's not what we've seen, for lack of a better word. So she says, then he's like, "How are you feeling?" And he says, "I feel great now." He grabs her hand because Will is very good at grabbing and pulling. And she says that he's different from any other guys that she has been with, but he's genuine and their emotional connection is growing. Then she tells him, like, you have depth in some way, because he was like, they're having like a fun moment. And she's like, it's my life mission to bring it out of you. And they have a cute moment where he starts tickling her and they laugh and she's laughing too. And if Brittany's laughing, I'm good. So it's his birthday and they pick up his mom, who is so pretty.
She
There was like
is.
a selfie cam where he's like, "We just picked up my mom and they're having a birthday brunch, but he's not wearing a pink shirt for his birthday." And so we get a selfie cam, right? And he's telling us, like, "Oh, we just picked up my mom," and I'm guessing it's from the airport. But then Brittany has a confessional at the brunch place when they get there, where she says, "Oh, Will has a close relationship with his mom, so I plan to have his mom in to surprise him, and I hope it's not too much because he doesn't like big gestures like that." And I'm like, was that an editing error
I
that
thought that was
happened
weird
like this?
too. I caught that too, where it's like, is it a surprise? But y'all picked her up, and maybe they picked her up from the hotel and not the airport. The timeline on that was really fuzzy, and but I'm glad that she was there, even though we don't know exactly how she
Yeah.
got there.
I wanted to see the surprise. I wanted to
Yeah.
see if Will would have emoted. If he listen, we've seen him emote. He cried on his wedding day. I remember that. But I just wanted to see like how touched he must have been. Like, oh, Brittany went through all this trouble for me. My mom is here. My girl is here. Like, it would have just been nice to see that. But I'm not an editor, so what do I know?
Or to hear what he said, like what was his reaction to it, because again, he can be effusive when he wants to be, and I think, what did he say or what could he have said that made Brittany feel more at ease? So yeah, that was a
Yeah.
miss, I think.
Either way, I'm just glad we see someone from his side who knows him. He does say that he is thankful that his mom is here and that Brittany coordinated it. I'm like, coordinated is a bad word. We're gonna find out later. Be careful. So they say, their mom asks how marriage has been. They say it hasn't been easy, but their mom is like, you seem to be doing okay. Like even in the car, you're touching, you're smiling. That's a good sign. And Will says, like, the situation forces you to grow and to assess yourself. And his mom sheds some light by saying that Will is a very private person. You know, I'm pausing because I don't know what to do with the fact when people say people are private people, but they sign up for a reality show. I don't know how to reconcile.
Exactly. Or if somebody's going to be
Oh,
real, like, I'm rigid, but let me go on this reality show where somebody else is in charge of my schedule. Like, what? What did you think was going to
yeah.
happen? Yeah, that's weird. And also, what does privacy mean? Is that mean I'm not going to share this with my partner, or there's stuff that I keep from my partner? Because that's not how getting to know somebody is going to work. And so what is the level of privacy? Do I need your social security number? Yeah, I'm your wife. So what is the level of privacy that we're talking about here? Because there's going to be things that, is it just that it was accelerated and he doesn't want, I don't know. Yeah, we needed more information about that, because that there's some level of privacy that you're not afforded in a relationship. And what does that mean?
Or in a reality TV show.
Or a reality
So,
TV show.
and I also say that because I'm listening to this very, very amazing podcast, The Curse of America's Next Top Model. It's so good.
Ooh.
Everyone should check it out. Actually, I'm gonna give Raven from Bitches Better credit. She recommended that, and it's so good. And I've been listening to that. And one of the episodes is called "Psych Out," where they talk about the psych eval and to have someone there, and they had like a doctor on there, and he said 90% of people who sign up for reality TV have no, I'm saying this wrong, but people who sign up for reality TV, at least 90% of them have narcissistic tendencies.
Oh, yeah.
Was
I
what-
mean, you kind depending on the show, you kind of have to. I mean, the you talk about yourself a good amount in the show, whether it's through the confessionals or the ITMs. Like, yeah, to some degree, you would need to.
yeah. I just found it funny. I don't know if it's factual. It sounds like a very high number, but I've said it ad nauseum on this show that you have to be a certain kind of person to go on reality show TV and put everything out there. So that's why I bring it up, just to say I'm a private person, but you went through all this. They have to go.
Hmm.
Dr. Pepper goes through your drawers, and you have to fill out all these things. You have to be vulnerable and say all these things about you. Will already told us, like, nope, I'm not into the butt stuff, and that's a lot of stuff you're telling a lot of people. So, to your point, what is private? You know.
Right. Right.
So he says, his mom says, like, he doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. But I want to point out that we call him Will. His mama calls him William.
I
Okay.
saw that.
So she says, like, even on decision day, when you get there, you're still not going to know each other because you guys have to, like, learn each other. Will says that sometimes Brittany thinks that he's not invested because he's not complaining about something, and he's just not a complainer. His mom says, like, she knows that Brittany will get defensive and take it personally, but it's not that. Like, he also needs to feel confident that he can express himself to you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it wouldn't be like a big reaction for him to feel safe. And then she also tells Will, like, don't always make it a badgery thing, like, give compliments. I'm like, come on, mama.
I
So
liked her a lot.
Will says, like, I'm not a big birthday person. My dad, he was like big notes and flowers person. I'm like, so what happened, Will? You were like, you know what? I'm going way to the other side. Why?
Right.
Why would
My-
you do
the-
that? You had
You
an
two are
example.
happily you two are happily married. I ain't gonna do that. Nope. No, thank you. No gracias.
But he does acknowledge that the fact that Brittany went all out and got his mom shows that she cares, and he's very thankful. And I think she even gives him like his funky socks, because his mom pointed out, like, oh, he really likes his funky socks. So that was cute. Go Brittany. Then we get a security cam, and I think Will is traveling, for work as usual. He's wearing his socks, and she's saying, I'll miss you. And he says, I'll miss you too. But my heart sank. I saw security cam. I'm like, nothing good is going to come out of this. And I prepared myself. I stopped breathing. Then they're holding hands. I'm like, oh God, what is about to happen? And she's like, I just really appreciate you. Like, I'm so grateful to be with you. Like, and I want to be with you forever. And I don't know. I just realized. And she's like, I love you. And then what does Will do? He does the pool. And then he's like, oh, you're going to kiss me now? And I'm like, oh my God. She's going to get mad. Like, I just said this. And then he's like, I love you too. And I was like, oh
Yay! I
Yay!
could have gone without seeing her cheeks, but the rest of it was really cute.
Her cheeks were cute, so that was fine. That was fine. I was even offended that he didn't grab the cheeks. He's put his
I
hand
was
way up
waiting.
on the
I
small
was
of her back.
waiting.
I'm
I
like,
was
tap
waiting.
it, slap it, do something. But oh my god, this made me so happy. This was so cute. Listen, with Will and Brittany, you gotta go with what you see in the moment. So
Yeah.
I was reveling in the moment. I was just, oh my god, just the fact he said it back because
Yeah.
we already got a lecture. There's agape love, there's filial love, there's
Ugh,
something
ugh.
love for him to say it. I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, and I'm wondering too if he finally learned. Like, okay, if I give her this, she calms down. So hopefully he
No,
figured this
don't
out.
say
This
it
isn't the
like
last.
that
No, but
because it feels
not
like
calms down, not calms down, but
okay,
at least it she because
reassurance.
her thank you. She's reassured. Her emotions get less elevated when she hears things because clearly, as if we want to talk about the love languages, like she whatever words of affirmation that's hers for sure and his seems to be touch. So I think if and he seemed to have figured it out, so yay. I think if they can keep going on this path, they've got a good shot. I'm really rooting for them.
Yes, indeed. And then just for the fact that he said, I'm not going to say it if I don't mean it. So
Hmm.
that should also add to that layer of reassurance that, okay, he actually meant it for him to say it. So, yay, another episode that ends with them being good.
Yeah,
Yay.
buddy.
All right, I'll take a quick break and then we shall come to Miss Rhonda. Okay, Rhonda and Pat, who I presume are with her grandkids, and she is telling Pat yet another family tale. I don't mean to dismiss it, but it was just something about her family of how her mom's husband, Danny, had pneumonia. And she was telling him that's what, her dad got sick of, and then he eventually passed away. Um, I think what I was focused on is why does Rhonda get to film in her own house?
Because
I
she's
thought it was a
Rhonda.
one-time thing, but it's
Mm-mm.
not. And that's okay if Rhonda doesn't want to do it. And good for her that she was able to negotiate, I guess, her own contract and she could do it in her own house. But I do feel that it affects Pat's experience. She gets to be in her own turf. She
Right.
gets to be comfortable on there. He got to miss couples retreat. He doesn't get the effects of being around the other couples because the thing
Hmm.
about being in the same apartment building is you get to hang out. Oh, you want to come out and meet or whatever. I don't even know how far away she lives, but we've just seen a lot of it in her own house. And I want to hear the background of that. I think someone said that it's adorable that I think that they could get Rhonda to do what they want. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't think
that's
so.
what I was thinking that same thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure she probably was like, I'm not doing that. If you want me on this show, I'm spunky, I'm smart. And I'm not living in no apartment. I've got this sprawling house. She seems to spend a lot of time with her kids and grandkids. And I don't know if all those people are going to fit into an apartment. So I can see how she laid down the law with these people, and especially because it's their first time having a lady of a certain age, that they were like, oh, okay, let's see how this
So
goes. It's not fair to Pat, but
So I wonder if that is part of Chad's annoyance. How come Rhonda gets to be in the house and I can't stand to be in an
mm,
apartment, but you're making me stay in an apartment? Because I think
that's a
that's
good
the
point.
other thing. If Rhonda wants to stay in her house, then fair game for everyone, maybe. But we'll see. So we find out that her mom and Danny have been married for over 40 years, and she shoos the grandkids away, and then she has a talk with Pat. Rhonda brings up the weekend and she was like, I was surprised that you just bought a ticket and you just assumed that I was just going to join you for your mom's thing versus, hey, this is a show. This is what it's about. Are you free? Are you not? And I'm like, Miss Rhonda, okay.
Us.
If this man did not include you in a thing for his mom, I think the other thing will be actually rewind. Her whole deal is that she feels like he's not interested and doesn't care about her. I think this shows care that you are now part of my family. You are my wife, so we're going to a family function. So I just assumed you'd be there. I don't know if there's like a time sensitivity to get tickets. So I'm just going to get a ticket and be like, "Hey, I got you a ticket to go with me. If you can't make it, you can't." You tell him that you can't. But the gesture was nice. Like, "Oh, you're my wife. We would be going together." You know who she reminds me of? What is the couple on couples therapy, the girl with the sweaters?
Oh gosh.
Yes, we've forgotten.
Rod and Allison. Allison.
Yes, Allison. Because when his mom came over, she's like, "Deuces, that's your problem. I'm going to walk the
Right.
dogs for 3 hours, and that's on you." But again, the way I see it, it's my mother-in-law. It's something that's happening. He's being inclusive of me, but you're focused on the part that, oh, he didn't ask you. Like I said before, I think Rhonda um I don't know if marriage is for her. I think a friends with benefits situation would be more for her because she's so used to being independent that I don't know if she can include someone else in her life at this stage of her life, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I think she's still being defensive over her. I know Pia told her don't worry about the exes, but she is not taking that advice, and she's still putting everything that happened from her exes on Pat. So I don't know what the solution is. I don't know that she's gonna suddenly just change at 63. And it's a doozy because Pat is going through it is all I can say. So yeah.
I don't know if it's an independent thing or if it's a bossy thing because she was real like my first husband wouldn't work, so I had to be in charge of everything and that kind of thing. And so it's one thing if that's your I had to do this to adapt, but you're not in that situation anymore. And I think at this point she'd want somebody to take kind of that load off of her. Like if this person is, oh, it's one less thing I have to plan. Oh, babe, thank you. I would love to go, or let me rearrange my schedule so that I can spend time with you. She's just not flexible at all. And
Yeah.
he's not like a Chad where he's like a bull in a china shop. Like I don't imagine that he's very much like, well, if you don't do this, then we're going to break up. Or if you don't do this, you don't care about me. So I think he's such an affable
Mhm.
person. And to somebody who I bet she asked for an affable person, but in reality, she wants somebody that's gonna give it to her as much as she gives. That didn't come out right, but I think she probably wants somebody that's a little bit more strong willed than Pat, and she didn't know that.
Honestly, I don't even think so.
You don't
I
think
think if
so?
she got someone that was more strong-willed than Pat, she'd be even deeper into because I think she's in fight mode all the time because it's
Mm-hmm.
all like I've been failed by the men that I've been with, and then to some degree she even said that about her dad, where it's like, oh, he didn't choose me, so you know what? I'm the one that's going to choose myself. I would never let myself down. But I think if she had that person, she would just be like, "Are you trying to control me? Are you trying to tell me what to do?" And things like there will always be a problem. So because she's just used to her, and again, going back to the kid, you just want my way or the highway. So she needs to be flexible, but I don't think that's a muscle that she has used for a long time. So she doesn't know how to use it at this point. So Pat just wanted things to go away. Is like, I accept that I didn't coordinate that well, and I'll do my best moving forward. It's not good enough. Rhonda is like,
Mm.
interesting choice of word to say coordinate versus invite. So these are little things like choose your battle, but what is the point? You
Yeah.
have to trust the intent of Pat. Yes, you don't know him, but this man is not looking for any trouble. He just wants
No.
to live. He just wants to be in peace
He wants
and
to
keep
have
it
some
moving.
sex. He just wants to have some
Okay.
sex. He wants to be desired. He just wants to, take care of his mom and just roll. He wants to laugh. He wants to jump in pools. He wants to be challenged, to step out of his comfort zone. He wants to wear his fun little shirts and his stripy socks. Like, he's not a threat to you. There's
Yeah.
nothing about Pat that makes me think, oh, she needs to be on defensive.
Yeah.
Does he interrupt her? And have we seen the things that she complains about, like, oh, you interrupted me, or you didn't let me finish my story? Like, we haven't seen any of that. It seems to always happen off camera.
Yeah, and in fact, what I see is him saying, oh my God, what am I about to say? Is it the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? Oh
Right.
my God, can I
Yeah.
remember everything that she's saying?" That's what I've
Uh,
seen. But he was explaining himself, but then she's like, she didn't say this, but basically the vibe was, but wait, there's more. She's like, the other part is like,
just
you can't list. This is now three things in a row that you're saying. We have not acknowledged, like, oh, you know what? Thank you for thinking of me, for getting me a
yeah.
ticket and for including me, your
Right.
family thing. No, we don't have that. We are now on number three. And she's saying, like, the other part is like, you just walked away. Like, I was talking to you about something that I needed because it's always about what she needed. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and again, the cursing elevates everything. And then you're talking to your husband and you're like, well, why the fuck am I even talking if you're not even going to listen to me? And this man that always looks like it's winter, I think,
Mm,
during sweaters, but he looks like he's hot trying
yeah,
to get out.
his little rosacea's flaring up. His little Santa cheeks are turning red. His little Santa nose is turning red. I'm just like, oh, stop it! You're hurting his feelings. He did not ask for this.
I
Just,
know. I was like, I'm sure like
oh.
when she was like, the grandkids go away, he's like, no, please stay.
You're our buffer. Don't leave me.
She nitpicked the hell out of him. He was like, I thought I acknowledged it. And she's like, no, I don't know if you're having conversations in your head, condescending tone, but it's
I
beginning to feel like I don't matter. And I'm like, oh, Rhonda.
This is where a Dr. Pepper would be good. Dr. Pepper, where are you? Like these are your people. Like come in and talk to them in a older person's language that they understand because he is just lost. And I think he's like, I've tried to talk, I've tried to not talk, I've tried to plan, I've tried to not plan. And I could see how he would just be like, I'm just gonna not do anything. And because I'm gonna get yelled at either way.
In all of the angles, I didn't think about this, but it just occurred to me now. I actually hope Dr. Pepper is okay because I don't know if this is a product of the fast forwarding and then maybe just parts just edited out, but hopefully like it's not like, oh, she was ill or something and that's why she couldn't make it. I mean, a little dark, but I just thought of that. So
So that didn't cross my mind till just now. I just thought the editing was weird.
yeah. Okay. So he says, like, "Ugh, Rhonda, there are a lot of dynamics. I'm just trying to process this stuff and I'm still trying to be myself, meet you in the middle." And for him, he's there and he's present. And all she's zeroing in on is the times that he's not. And she makes a face. He tells us that despite all his efforts, Rhonda doesn't feel seen or heard, and it hurts. And he doesn't know if her expectations are too high or if it's just him. And I'm like, where are the experts, guys?
This is a good
So
time. Rub the lamp and appear. Come on, genies.
Pat is meeting with his friend Adrian, who they've known each other for 42 years, and he's telling him how it's been a struggle, especially the last week, and the disconnects just still continue. And honestly, he feels hopeless. He tells us like he still feels lost and perplexed, and he feels like a failure, and hopes his friend is able to help with that. He tells Adrian that he's been on eggshells because he's thinking of what to say, and no matter what he says, he's still missing. Pat joins them with a loud hello. Even I sit up straight as soon as she walks in. I
That
was
surprised the heck out of me when Rhonda showed up. I was like, y'all are having this whole conversation about her and she's about to show up. Like, how do you even shift from that? That's so weird.
it is. Sorry, guys. I think I just said Pat joins them. Rhonda
You
joins
did. You
them.
did. I was trying to subtly save you.
That's okay. Thanks, Jen.
Got you. I got you.
Rhonda is the one who joined them with like a hello. So Rhonda says like, they've had communication challenges and it's the way she deals with it when she feels unheard. That he feels her tone is anger. She's not taking accountability. It's not me. I don't sound angry. I sound normal. But he feels her tone is anger. And the friend is like, or worse, disappointment. And she said, all I am asking for is for him, like, when she's vulnerable. And for example, she brought up the song and he was like, what happened with the whole song thing where she was like, this means a lot to me. And he brought up how it meant to him that it means something completely different. And the friend was just like, well, Pat, that was stupid behavior that needed to be fixed. I'm like, Okay. Then Rhonda just gets up and walks out crying. And even
Yeah.
Adrian is like, "Did I say something wrong?" And
Did
honestly, I
I
thought
do
he did.
that?
I
Yes.
thought he did because
Yes.
he was interrupting her. So I thought that's what it was, that she was going to be like, even his friend is the same way. He would not let me talk. But the producer follows her and she's crying and the producer says, "Oh, what triggered that?" And she's like, "It's the fact that Adrian just got it immediately and Pat hasn't got it for freaking weeks." And she's just sad. I'm like, "Uh-huh. Okay, now let's compare him to somebody else. Great." She says again that she feels, when she gets back to the table, that she feels like he doesn't care. And he's like, "That's not true, that he just feels like he's being held to a standard that he can't achieve." He says, like in past relationships, he has doubled down and like, "Okay, I'm just going to be better and fixing myself." But then he ends up losing himself and he cannot do that again. He will not, cannot, will not.
Yes.
Adrian says, "But the thing is, like, you should just be yourself." And Pat is like, "Well, the opportunities have been few." He's not lying. When he is himself, it's not enough. Like, why are we acting like this is not the core issue here? Himself is annoying Rhonda. And then Rhonda's like patting him and said, "Permission to be yourself." And I'm like, "Girl,
Lies.
wrong
Lies.
timing."
Lies. Oh my gosh. Remember when I said earlier, like, oh, I wish we could see more of people's friends so we can get a different perspective of them? I did
Yeah.
not mean that for Adrian. Adrian, you're a terrible,
Mm-mm.
terrible friend.
He overcorrected. He
He's
wanted to make her feel
terrible.
safe, but he ended up fucking over his friend.
But yes, that is not your role, dude. And my husband watches the show with me, and I don't. It may have been the beer talking, but he was like, "I think Adrian's trying to get it in," and I was like, well, "Maybe," because he was not there for Pat. That's for sure. Because yeah, even if you felt that way, you don't say that in front of the girl. That doesn't help Pat at all. You've just given Rhonda more ammo to be like, see, even your friend thinks that way. So I was like, oh, Adrian, not a good friend. Boo.
Oh man, again, that's why we need experts. Okay, so we move on to Jalen and Josh. Not a lot of things happening with them here, but she does suggest that they do things with their friends and get together. And they didn't say it, but maybe for them to build a community. And shocker, Josh agrees because Josh doesn't disagree to anything Jalen says. They're back in the city. They have their friend get together, and I think they're crafting
Yeah.
together.
And he was real focused on it. I was like, all right, look at you trying to win husband of the year. All right.
It's his new community. He has to focus. And they all get along and it's all great. But then someone asked them, surprisingly, coincidentally, "What are your hobbies? What do you like to do together?" And for the life of me, they could not answer that question. That shocked me. That actually shocked me that they couldn't answer that question. What did they talk about?
Yeah, they mostly have sex and laugh and concern
I
themselves with
mean,
Burning Man and text Belinda. I don't know.
they couldn't even say food, something. I don't know, but the fact that they just get, maybe it could be editing. We always have to put that in mind. But she says like, "My hobbies are going to the lake and going spin class." And Josh likes big festival. Josh is like, "We like music, but then even then they like different kinds of music." And I'm like, guys, decision day is like 10 days away. Like, we need to be, at the very least, they don't need to always have the same interest, but they have to
Yeah.
have something that they like doing together. So I'm just gonna hope that that was the edit, and we'll see. So this does make Jalen think like, "Huh, are we too different?" Question mark, question mark. I know when I was on Jason and Asia's show, I did say like, I do feel like Jalen is going to say no. And I know it sounds
Mm.
shocking because these are our golden couples
Yeah, look
for
at that
most of this
ring. Woof.
season. Yeah. I wonder if they say no, is she gonna give it back? I would doubt it, Casey. But I don't know. I just think that the fact that Jalen is facing reality closer to decision day, I don't know what that's gonna do. to them. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And I do have, and I know I if this is still a question in your mind, I do know somebody that does Burning Man every year. And it's a thing. Like, I know Coachella's a thing, but Burning Man's a bigger thing where they've got kind of costumes and they coordinate it with their friends, and it's spending the night, and it's all about, it's a whole thing. So I could see how people plan a good chunk of their lives around Burning Man. And it's the same
Mhm,
thing. I have another friend that does like the EDM cruises, and it's the same
mhm,
thing where they plan their outfits like Monday's Neon Day and Tuesday's this and da 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 da. And they've got this whole community. Oh, I use the C word, of
mhm.
people that are around this. So I could see why that is such a big deal for him. I don't think she needs to also do it. I think she should try it once and maybe not multiple days, but like one day. Um, because clearly this is a big deal for him, and for her to be like, I don't want to do that is something that he's not going to get past the same way she's not going to get past him saying she doesn't have it, which is crazy because I don't do spin. That bike seat hurts my neither parts, but I did do Orange Theory when I lived in Texas, and that does become a community because even though, we've got our names on the board and you get competitive with each other, but they also do stuff outside of the classes where we did competitions, and then we did like get-togethers. And so they have these similar things. If either one of them would try the other person's thing, maybe they could see that yes, we have things in common. It looks different, but we have the same feelings and passions about these other things. But I don't know if either one of them has stepped into the other's world. I know that Jalen's been challenged a lot to do stuff by him, but in terms of the things that are um, kind of at the core, I don't know if they've tried that for each other.
I mean, I think it's fine. From my understanding, once you're in Burning Man, you can't do like a 1 day, 2 day. You have to do all 10 days. That's
Is it?
my
Okay.
understanding, which is the only difference because I think trying it, and I honestly do think that if it was like a 2 day, 3 day thing, she would try it. 10 days is a lot to ask of someone where you don't shower, where you dance, where there may or may not be drugs. And that's a lot. Like, that's where I think that's the line, but it doesn't mean you can't do anything else because I think
Right.
my example that I gave last time is like I don't expect my husband to come to BravoCon with me, but also that's 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's doable. So maybe she traveled, maybe the compromise is you travel to the location, I'm in a great hotel, you have fun and when you're done I'll be right there waiting for you. I don't know, maybe that's a good compromise because
There
no
you
one's saying take it
go.
away from him, but I think it's a lot for new marriage for someone who doesn't like outdoorsy stuff and stuff to tell them to go 10 days, no shower, no nothing, and just be stuck in there. I don't, it's a lot, but what do I know? Derek and Megan. They're back home. They're talking about how no one, could suspect that she was pregnant. And she's hoping that they have twins. So it'll be like one and done. Derek is very excited about having a kid, but also nervous about it. But he tells her, I love you. I'll do anything to help you during the pregnancy. And she's like, agreed. And they're babysitting her friends, Nate and Rachel's kids. But this is another case of, or another new thing in maths. I don't know who's there in Megan's house, I believe.
Yes.
It's
It
not
seems
the
like it.
apartment.
No, no. I thought it
Yeah,
was
it's
Megan's
not the
house.
apartment. So it looks like this cast is able to just go in, out, and go to wherever they want to be. But maybe they did encourage it. Maybe they're just like the less time y'all spend together, the less time there's a crossover for people to
But also,
cheat
you're
with
not gonna,
each other.
what are you gonna do with three kids in an apartment?
Yeah,
Three
I know, but I
boys,
mean,
much less.
it just wouldn't be a storyline, I guess, if
Yeah.
it was. It
Yeah.
hasn't in the past, so yeah, they're babysitting their kids. She says she doesn't know what the future holds, but 3 kids would be a lot because they were all 3 boys and they're all like I want to say between 6 to 10, the ages. So they're not like babies. But she says it would be a lot because she's just tired. Derek doesn't say I agree. he says nothing. He doesn't say anything. So when they're done with babysitting, the kids had a great time and they're like, we want to stay. It was so fun. Derek tells her, like, oh, you looked really natural with the kids, as Meghann is frantically cleaning her chairs and saying that they're so sticky. I just want all this dirt out of the chairs. And
Not
he
my
still agrees.
lucite chairs. Not my lucite chairs. They're just spots on them.
And then they just, babysat three kids of a certain age for one day. And Derek is like, so how does that feel? How do you feel about three kids? Like, Derek, you haven't had one yet. You still don't know what that's like. And you're already talking about three. But then, I don't know, she's like, I love that the three of them are close. I like that their own tribe. And I think she agrees to having three. I'm not, I'm unclear of what that was, but I think that's what I got out of it. Is that what you got?
It sounds like she's a little bit more open to it, and she handled it much better than I did, because the watching
Mhm.
this entire thing was so irritating to me. Like, stop making women who are hesitant about having children be stuck around children. Like, it's not the same. Even the dad said, when they're like, all right, we'll call you if anything comes up, and the dad's like, don't call us. That there's a reason for that, because that mess is hard. And Meghann is not dumb. She knows that there are highs of having kids, but you know who has kids? Her mom, and that lady seems miserable. So let's stop equating like what's happening with other people's kids to mean like, if you're hesitant, don't worry, it'll be wonderful, just watch these kids and you'll get over whatever hesitations that you have. So she ultimately, it ended up fine. She was fine with it, but I was irritated with it this whole time.
Yeah, her hesitation is childbirth, not the actual having of kids. So that's why I'm just like the babysitting and all that. It's not like she won't do it, but you can't practice for childbirth, which is what the actual fear is. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right, Belinda and Chad, we've all been waiting because I've been like, we can't fault what hasn't happened. We all have impressions of Chad. We've all said, I don't know, is this Chad? Is this not? But we've just been going by what we've seen. But I feel like this episode, it's like, what is it? Is it creme brulee? You gotta crack it and then see what's inside. So
Yes.
they're just chatting about the day. And Belinda says that she can see a future with Chad. And if decision day was today, she'll say yes. I gotta tell you, she seemed hesitant. She said, if it was today, I'll say yes. I'm like, huh. But she still has doubt on how this will work. And I'm like, okay, tell us more, because they're not showing us. Because all we've seen, he gives you flowers, he tells you you're amazing, you tell Jayling it's great. Where is the doubt coming from? We are playing whiplash over here.
Yeah. I don't know. And even when she says things are wonderful or things are great, like there's that smile that and that's the thing about her and Jalen. Like they have the same smile. And I feel like I see less and less and less of that smile the longer this goes. And even when she's with Chad, she says, "Oh, things are fun, they're great," but her face is gone. Like that smile, she doesn't have it when she's with him. I don't see it that much anymore.
Yeah. So she tells him, like, listen, you're free to ask me questions if you have any concerns, because you seem not to have any concerns at all. And he's like, I don't have concerns about you. My only issue is just like, I haven't lived in an apartment for so long, so I'm not used to all of the noise, all of the people. And I think this sounds disjointed because that is not what she asked. She said, if you have concerns about me, if there's anything that you have concerns about us, what would it be? So I mean, I guess he's saying the apartment, but okay. So he says like he's not comfortable here, that this is not home for him. So she says, I have an example. It looks like two different conversations. Like bedtime, you go do your unwinding. Sometimes you come sit with me, but then you go back and you do your unwinding again. And sometimes I just want you to lay with me. And I'm just trying to understand, like, is it going to always be this way? Because how is it going to say, I don't like the apartments? And then you're like, well, you don't lay with me. And I'm like, what are we saying? But he says it. He's like, I'm just very uncomfortable in an apartment. And also, I'm not used to a dog sleeping in my bed. I'm like, there we have it. And it's like, I don't know if that's something we can try to train Lovey on. Like, I can't sleep when the dog is on my legs. And she doesn't really say anything. She just says
Yeah.
she doesn't want to get to a point where it feels like he doesn't want to lay with her. And that's why I'm like, he just mentioned a dog. So what are we addressing
Yeah.
things or are we piecing things together? It just really felt like a disjointed conversation to me. And then he says it's just a few weeks and we can go back to normal. And I think he forgets that they don't know what normal is, but go ahead.
No. And that's what I mean when she says she gives little hints about this is things that, at least my interpretation, like this is the things that happened in her marriage that she doesn't want to happen again. Like she doesn't want them to be separate. And and I don't he's so busy being uncomfortable, and he's so busy like I'm angry and this is not what I'm not getting what I want, that he's not listening to her. Like, oh, she's
Mhm.
telling you some very specific things and some very specific fears, and he's like, we'll address those when I'm out of here, versus going, okay, I'm not comfortable in an apartment. What can I do? Can we get some earplugs? Can and how long has the dog been sleeping with them, and he's just now bringing it up? Like,
Yep.
do you need to wear pajama pants so you don't feel the dog? Is it the heat? Is it the fur? Like, there's like, what's the
He just
solution to
doesn't
all of
want a
this?
dog in the bed. He just doesn't want a
Yeah,
dog in the bed.
yeah, but there what's the solution? Like, if is it that we start with the dog and you take it out and you train it out? It's just I don't want it. I'm uncomfortable. Da 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 da. Like, where's the compromise
He
on
did
anything?
say it. He said maybe we can get training to see if Lovey can adjust to that, and maybe we try to train Lovey on that. So
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
so
I guess
far.
we'll see.
But you're already so annoyed. Like, maybe that should have been a day one conversation. The first time Lovey slept in the bed, have that conversation then. Because right now you're so like heightened about hating everything, and there's multiple things now she's got to address. And now
Yeah.
it's just not. Now it's just not the dog. It's the dog. It's the apartment. It's the you separate from me. You're unhappy. You're speaking for both of us. Like, there's so many things that, had they addressed them, or had he addressed them in a way other than just being pissy, there was just no solution. There's just like, I don't want this. So I'm going to pout, and I'm going to pout until I get my way, which is not a good approach.
Yeah, so he says that it's been intense. Doing it in front of a camera is a whole different experience, but they're both mature to know this is not how it'll be, and when the camera is down, they'll figure it out. I think people forget sometimes when you just say we'll figure it out, you actually have to figure it out. Saying we'll
Right,
figure it out
exactly.
is not figuring it out,
Right.
okay?
That's like the
So
TBD when they were talking about having a baby. They're like, ah, TBD, surprise, you're having a baby. Now you got to talk about it.
it has been determined now. um, Belinda calls Jalen and tells her about the spat that she had with Chad. And I want to ask, like, how do you feel about this? I feel like when Michael was on, this was kind of what his concern was, but I could be misinterpreting where he was saying like they're gonna lean very heavy into Belinda and Jalen. Just I don't know if that's what he meant, like always like calling each other or into that storyline. But how do we feel? I mean, it makes the most sense. I mean, why wouldn't you call your daughter or call your mother for things? Although I feel like Belinda calls Jalen more than Jalen calls Belinda. I don't know. I could be reading it wrong. But how do you feel about that whole like? Does is it inconsequential to you, or because it doesn't bother me because it's a different dynamic than we've seen? But do you have any feelings or thoughts about Belinda and Jalen just always calling each other for things?
I I don't, because the things that the past MAFS participants will tell you is that nobody knows what we're going through except us. And so if you're going to have that conversation, it's going to be with somebody that's I want to say in the pods, but somebody that's in the same situation that you're in, and you've got a shorthand with this person. So yeah, I might call my mom before I call Brittany, because I have a shorthand with my mom, or I have a shorthand with my daughter. And I don't know, their relationship was already pretty close, where they seem to tell each other a lot of things anyway. So for the two of them, I don't think it's abnormal. I think if the mom or Jalen wasn't there, they would still call each other. So I think it just happens to be calls that we get to see on video. So it doesn't bother me. I think it would happen anyway.
Okay. Okay. So she says like Chad says like they were not filming the next day. I couldn't tell if it was that it was the actual schedule that they weren't filming, or he made a call to say we're not filming, but I think it was the schedule eventually. So they decided to call and make a hair appointment, and it turns out that they were filming, and he got back from work and was so upset and was texting producers saying what's going on with the schedule, like, they've made appointments. I mean, Belinda has a hair appointment, and she tells him, like, I mean, you don't have to include me in the text because it doesn't bother me. And he's like, what does it matter even if I include you or not? And she's like, yeah, but I don't have an issue and it doesn't bother me. Jalen tells her that she needs to let him know that moving forward, he can't be speaking for her. Belinda
Mhm.
is concerned that why does it need to be escalated to this point? And Jalen says, yeah, and this show that he's so mad at, you only got married because of this show. Belinda says it's showing her a side of him that she doesn't like at all, and it's a turnoff. And it's almost over. They're all in the same boat, so what is the big deal? So that was the conversation. Then they go to conveyor sushi, the one with the sushis on a conveyor
Yeah.
belt and pick up your stuff.
Yep.
And, they talk about Chad meeting up with his friend that he's known for 20 years. And Belinda's like, did you talk about us? He's like, yeah, it was good because I needed to talk to a friend about my frustration. I am at the end of my rope with this bullshit. He says, I am done with this fucking show. And then quickly adds, it has nothing to do with you, just the whole wife that put me on
Right.
this show. Belinda is like, oh, but that's how we met. And she doesn't understand where he thinks everything went wrong. He says, I'm a 54-year-old combat vet. I don't know why he had to add the combat vet, but he did. And he's tired of being talked to like a goddamn child. I want to reiterate that when Nicole and Chris were on here, they did give some perspective in that it does get annoying on a regular day, and people are above you, people are telling you what to do, and as we've seen, it looks like the older you get, the crabbier you are and set in your ways that you are. So he's not
How
taking kindly.
dare you?
Well, I
How
don't mean your
dare
age.
you?
I mean,
He's
I mean
only
like
4
Rhonda.
years older than me.
Maybe the threshold is coming, but you're not there yet. But it looks like Rhonda but that's the thing. I'm wondering if Rhonda is also having a hard time being told what to do, but we're not showing that because they can't have two people having that storyline because it's just hard to I don't know. I don't want to put that on her, but he's tired of being talked to like a goddamn child. Chad says the process has been a pain in the ass, and then we get a flashback from the wedding day. We've had this. We just didn't see it,
Mhm.
but he's been like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So he says it's difficult because he's used to being in charge, and it's creating anxiety that he doesn't need, and it's hit him in the gut, and he doesn't know how to deal with this, and he's not doing this anymore. Belinda's like, what do you mean? He's like, okay, I will base my life on what they send us today for the schedule, but if they change anything on the schedule, we're done. Belinda says, we? Because I don't have a problem with it. And I don't want you speaking for me. And the thing I notice is that she basically regurgitates what Jalen said. I'm
Mm,
not saying that's not what she thinks, but everything she said from the I don't want you speaking for me and I don't have a problem with it. And, that seemed like, the thing that she told her during the phone call.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, she seems strong when she's talking to Jalen. So
Jalen,
her
yeah.
approach and the words that she uses and how kind of clear she is about what she wants and what her issues are. She's way more clear when she's talking to Jalen than she is with Chad. And I think for her to say, well, you don't speak for both of us, if he's the guy that thinks he's the protector and he's the combat vet and he's the one that's going to take care of his woman, it would make sense in his head that he would speak for them because he's protecting them. And so for her to say, I don't have a problem with it, I don't know what Mr. Protector thinks he's supposed to do with that information. So they're again not on the same page with that at all. But I wish she was as clear with him in terms of, you're uncomfortable, but what does that look like? Okay, if the schedule changes, what does that mean for us? Instead of just saying, well, don't speak for me. it's more to that. Like, what's the next step? Don't speak for me, but how do we get you and us through this finish line? Because we still have what, another 10 days, 8 days. There's still a long way to go. And if you think this is tough, ooh, wait till you get to decision day. That's not going to be fast. Not at all.
I think I'm not even mad at him for being mad. Again, from everything everyone else has said, it is very frustrating. I can understand, like, I can't believe that they're able to fit in work and their regular life and all that and still have a filming schedule. I think what the problem is how he's reacting to it.
Yeah,
Yes, you're irritated, yes you are, but you don't need to talk to anybody crazy, and you don't need to be that mad, because at the end of the day, you signed up for a TV show, and with a TV show you never know what's going to come with it, and you have to be kind of flexible. But I am just putting into account that I can imagine, like, I mean, he's saying it and it sounds nutty, but just saying, like, being told to speak like a goddamn child, like, I can hear it. Like, we saw a little preview where they were like, okay, so how do you feel, say it again, say it this way. That would be annoying to anybody, talk less of, oh, let me go back and quote him, a 54-year-old combat vet apparently is different. So I think it's the way that, and what she said was, you have to consider me when you have these reactions. So
yeah,
consider the fact that you feel some type of way, I don't feel some type of way, so where do we meet in the middle? And also, it's going to be done pretty soon. You stuck it out up to this point. Just, again, suck it up, and then maybe make it clear, or have some conversations with the producers and see what they can work with or not. Like, you being all pissy is also not going to help your situation anyway. So,
exactly.
mm.
How did you feel about him breaking the fourth wall and kind of revealing all this stuff about production?
I didn't feel any way, because I feel like they kind of did that when. Oh, did you mean the previous episode or this episode?
This one particular.
Oh no, I didn't feel any way, because I think with him, just when it happened at the dinner, the 1 month anniversary, and he was like,
Hmm.
"We're done. I'm not gonna do it." So he laid the ground already
Okay.
for that. So yeah. So he says they are. He thinks that they're driving and putting wedges between them, and she's like, "Huh? I'm not aware of these wedges." She didn't say that, but that was her face. And he says, "Not between us, but for Jalen and Josh." And he says he texted Josh, and Josh's language is different from what Belinda is saying. And Belinda's like, I don't think so. Like, I think they're fine. They're going on. And honestly, I started thinking, I was like, wait, is Jailing not trying to bother her mom and not say anything? Or is this man straight up lying? And if he's lying, that's insane, because he talks to her daughter like every day. Like, do you
Right.
think she's not going to find out? Like, what are we doing here, Chad? Why are we grasping for straws? And also, why are we involving Jalen and Josh in something you have an issue with? Let's focus, man.
Yeah, I think that was
So,
for I think that was for production, so he could be like, "Look, it's not just me. It's not because I'm a 54-year-old combat vet. It's because the situation sucks, and Josh, the young guy, feels it too. So ask
yeah.
him. He backs me up. It's not the only one. So maybe in this situation, it's not that great that the cast are buddy buddy if they're kind of building up this little mutiny against the production schedule. But yeah, for him to say that on camera, knowing that the production is quickly going to go and cover this with one, if not both of them, is a little nutty. But
It really is. And also, it's just not a good look when you're focusing or arguing or fighting. Don't bring other people in it.
yeah.
Because even if what he's saying is true, why are you sharing that? Like,
Hmm.
what's the end game, with that? So anyway, Belinda says, like, this makes her take steps back. She goes over to Jalen's and says she doesn't know what to think. She shares what happened. She brings up the whole production and Josh part, and Jalen is like, huh. Chad texted Josh yesterday, but asked him if he wanted to go to the archery, and Josh is like, oh, I'm busy. And I can't make it, and that it was pretty brave of him to tell her he texted Josh, because doesn't he think he's going to find out? And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh gosh, this is kind of crazy. Belinda feels like he's not being honest about stuff, and that, she left disappointed and now she just feels angry. Like, hey, I came in with full trust and now I'm questioning that. She tells Dalen, like, yeah, I say I love him, but I don't understand this side that he's showing right now. And it is a setback for me. And she says, there will be no, this doesn't sound right, but I guess she said it, there'll be no fucking future if it continues to be like this. I hope I didn't add that F word there, but it doesn't sound like her, but she had to have said it. Why would I say that? But yeah,
I think
that's
she
how the
was fed
episode
up.
ends.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
fed up
yeah.
talking to her daughter.
I know. I think she was Belinda was giving like, I know y'all think I'm nice, but if you push
Right.
me,
Exactly.
you are going to see the B Belinda that you don't want to see. Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how the episode ended. Do you have any last thoughts?
My last thoughts, I'm curious how this is going to end, and I'm like, if the couple swapped, what would happen if Chad and Rhonda got paired? That would be crazy.
Ooh. Ooh, that would be
Because
interesting.
I think Chad and Rhonda would be interesting, but I also think Belinda and Pat would have been so cute.
Hmm. That's very interesting. Guys, let me know what you think. What do you think if there was like a swap and they had other what would you how do you think that would fare? But how old is Pat? He's 57?
Yeah,
Would
she's
that be
63, 50. It
too
was 3 years. I think he's 60. Were they 3 years apart?
Oh, okay. I thought it was 57. Okay. Who has your bouquet for the episode?
My bouquet for the episode surprisingly was Megan. I think she handled everything with the kids, and I was all with her on cleaning up them chairs after hanging around teenage boys. I know what her future looks like in terms of smell. So I'm like, yes, Megan, you're my girl, bouquet. And I like the way that she stood up and helped Brittany. So this week it's Megan.
Yeah.
Who has yours?
Nice. My bouquet goes to Will's mom. I feel like I've been itching to have him have someone from his corner to see how he operates. I feel like it was a positive thing. I feel like she shed some light into how Will is and kind of helped with Brittany. And it was just nice. It was just nice to see the whole thing for his birthday. Who has your ashes?
I'm going to go off script from the main cast and give it to our friend Adrian. Bro. Bro, you suck. You dropped the ball. If we were in combat, oh, you would have got shot. You suck at this.
That's funny. That's a good one though.
How about you?
Um, I'm gonna give it to Chad. I'm gonna give it to Chad because this woman has been rocking with you. You've been showering her with praises, and then all of a sudden, you don't like the apartment. You don't want the dog around you. You're lying about Josh. You're saying all these things when you have like what 8, 10 days left. Like, suck it up,
Yeah.
combat vet. Like you've seen worse. You've been through worse. Like you've been through things in your life, and if you can do this, if nothing else for her, because I think the part that's not being said is like, I get that he's uncomfortable. I get that it's not easy for anybody else too. But
Right.
I don't think he's taking into consideration her because whatever you do, you're a reflection of her. You can't just say she's my wife. You're amazing. I'll take care of you. But the ways that she needs taking care of in that you don't like this, if production tries to see you as a problem, your filming schedules are kind of going to be together. So she is kind of lumped into this. So it's a
Yeah.
little bit selfish. I'm not dismissing his anxiety. He's probably like, listen, I've gone through my whole life curating my life, and then now all of a sudden these kids are bringing anxiety into my life. I don't want this.
Right.
I get it. But try to
Hmm.
find a better solution. Lashing out and trying to assert dominance and your age and things like that is not the best way because you knew that you were going to live in a shared place. Again, they don't usually know what it comes with. They just have an idea until they live through it, but it's the end of the experiment. I just feel like he should suck it up, if nothing else, for the woman that he claims that he loves.
Yeah.
That's why he gets my ashes. Okay.
Good
Well,
call.
Jen, always a pleasure to have you here. Can you share with people where they can find you?
Yes, even though I may not be the favorite podcast guest, please find me and my husband. I told you I was petty. Please find me and my husband and our travel adventures on Instagram and YouTube at jns.adventures.
Yes, guys, you know where to find me. Also call MAFS on all of the socials. And if YouTube is your thing, I have the episode up there. No visuals, but if you want to listen through that, you can check that out. Please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Those really help the podcast. If you don't like me, you're right, but please share that with your friends in the group chat. And stay subscribed so you don't miss out on any new episodes. And we are going towards the end of MAFS, so stay tuned for the rest of the 3 episodes that we have going. Until next time, guys. Bye.